Ja esmu Hjurne, James Truchard. Thank you, Mr. Truchard, for accepting our invitation. First of all, how was the ceremony? You've got a tight schedule, a lot of meetings.
It was a very nice ceremony. I've met a lot of interesting and great people, and we had a very nice ceremony.
I know that you are familiar with Armenia. You have been to Armenia. You have opened an office here 5 years ago,
right.
And you here there is a huge office with 70 people. How do you assess the Armenian workforce in IT?
In our case, it's some of the best in the world. We have the technology that we can serve very sophisticated applications, whether they be 5G wireless, whether they be big physics applications or high performance semiconductor test.
So they're quality and quality workers.
Very high quality workers, very good workers, very technical workers, very capable workers.
There was an IT summit about 2 years ago when National Instruments head of office in Armenia talked about the IT city, and you've been invited to be at the opening ceremony of the IT city. How it's going to change the overall landscape in Armenia, this city?
Over the last years, Armenia has really built a strong educational system, hands-on learning of engineering. This takes it to the next level where we can start looking at the infrastructure for helping startups. Good technology is important, but there's also supporting elements that are needed. And this new engineering city will enable that. In other words, to go to the next level.
Now, everyone is trying to be next Silicon Valley. Paris is trying to be Silicon Valley. London, even Silicon Valley wants to be new Silicon Valley. What Armenia should do to kind of appear on the world map of IT?
Well, I think this was a big step forward, starting with good technologists. We are now with the internet have a lot of connectivity. It's possible for new areas to learn what's going on in the latest technology and participate. So being connected to the world is very important, and then create the environment, the rich environment that's needed for success.
Maybe not a lot of people know in Armenia, but in the past you were named by Forbes as one of the America's favorite bosses. So my question is, what it takes to be favorite, but what do you do that you were named?
Well, I've always been very much a manager by walking around and communicating, really sharing the vision of the company so it's well understood by all the employees so they can be effective, take the ball, as we would say, and run with it. They can understand why they're doing their job. They're not just being told to do this or that, but they can participate in the decision making. They can make decisions for themselves as often as possible because they really understand and share the vision.
And what is important for you at the workplace? What culture makes an office one of the best ones? Because also National Instrument has been named one of the best places to work for.
Right. So again, having this environment that's open and management is trustworthy, where people just know that the word of the manager will be good. And then, of course, where people are really dedicated to what they're doing. They always say, if I get a job that I really love and it becomes like a hobby, I won't ever have to work another day in my life. And that's what you want to try to create, this environment where people are so excited and so much love what they're doing. Of course, for us, it's maybe a little easier because our customers are doing some of the most exciting things around, whether it be space, where we're actually doing ground control for the space launches, or helping design the rocket, or big physics, where in the certain Large Hadron Collider technologies very much involved. So these things make the job exciting as well.
You're doing also an educational program in Polytechnic. So for a lot of people to catch up with the kind of new knowledge in ID sector is always trying too hard to know what's going on. What you would suggest, what to learn in order to not to catch up but be ahead, kind of predict what's going to happen and know the knowledge that they will need to work for?
For Armenia, I would recommend bringing in the technologists from around the globe to make presentations and travel, of course. And these days, the internet is very, very powerful in what we can do and learning and keeping up with the latest. So I advocate strongly that as part of the learning process, the engineers and the scientists learn how to get information. It's very critical. It's been times where people call me the paper boy, because if somebody's working on something and they hadn't seen the latest, I go get the information, print it out, and put it on the chair. So the next morning, there's the paper there that they can read and learn the latest technology.
Yeah. Today, when people talk about the latest technology, they are not as much excited as afraid of driverless cars, artificial intelligence, smart homes, smart smart music centers. What would be, in your opinion, the next kind of smart technologies? Is it going to be scary that much?
Well, I see driverless cars is a very big deal because of where we are now. There's billions of dollars being spent on the research, and once one of the car manufacturers decides this is important, they all decide because their life depends on staying current with the technology. So at this point, it's a race to see who can get the technology first. And the billions of dollars are being spent. So I'm fairly certain that quite a bit of technological change will take place. Now, of course, as you mentioned, half the challenge is the intimidation of the driver. So I attended a workshop in Washington, D.C., where much of discussion is going to be how will drivers adapt to this new system to trust it and not try to take control. Yeah. Of course, there'll be the cars with no steering wheel, so it won't be possible to take control. So that will be a factor and has to be considered in the process.
And what was the conclusion?
That a lot of work will need to be done to make it happen.
Mr. Truchard, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And hope to see you again in coming years.
All right.
Սիրելի հեռուստադիտողներ, ես հիշեցնեմ, որ մենք զրուցում ենք այս տարվա GRT Award-ի մրցանակակիր National Instrument ընկերության հիմնադիր եւ նախագահ James Truchard-ի հետ։